Hello everyone, this is my mum.
Hi everyone.
They can see you, don't have to... That's the lens, mum. They can see you. Just because you can't see yourself on the viewfinder doesn't mean that they can't see you.
Okay. Hi.
This is my mum. We have sorted her car out. At least I hope we have. Did it pass the MOT?
No, it didn't.
Hello, welcome to the channel. JAYP here from JP Cars. Today you join me with my mum's Nissan Micra. This car needs an MOT put on it and it needs some work before that happens. There's some rattling from the front end and there's some kind of like suspension issue on the driver's side. So we're gonna have a look into that before we put it in for an MOT. Okay, so the first thing to look at is the rattling from the front end, and I'm pretty sure I already know what it is. She said that it's this kind of metallic rattling and it sounds like it's from the exhaust at the front. I think it's gonna be this, rattling around is the heat shield. They are known to go on these Nissan Micras, so that was the first thing I was going to look at. I think to replace this, you've got to replace the whole section, including the pipe. So I'm not going to do that. Let's get welding. Please go easy on me, it's really not that good. But I've only welded like once in my life on the Jaguar XJ. As long as it holds this in place, I'm not that worried. I don't think Mum's going to be that bothered either, to be honest, as long as it's not rattling. Okay, it's not great, I admit, but it has at least just stopped it from rattling. So Mum, I hope you're happy. It looks a bit ugly, but you're not gonna see it anyway. So I've had a look around the car and the only thing I can really see on the front end here would be this here. This ball joint is absolutely like perished. I think that that has caused this bush up here to knock. So let me just look at all the rest. There's not as much give as on that other side. So I think the passenger side is the problem with that ball joint that is split. So that's gonna have to be done anyway. And I'm pretty sure that's had a knock-on effect for the bushes in the back of this arm here. So I think the whole thing is gonna be changed. I'm sure they come in one piece, so I'll order one of those. Pretty sure everywhere else seems absolutely fine. So I'm hoping that is okay. I have also looked on the rear. Yes, there is a little bit of cracking in the rear suspension bushes, but nothing too crazy, nothing that would make me go, oh my God, needs to be changed. That might be a minor depending on the tester, because that is getting close to the limit on the outside here. I've checked all the other bits, shock absorbers, springs, everything like that. It seems okay. You know, I'm not an MOT tester.
Did it pass the MOT?
No, it didn't.
So I'm not 100% sure what I'm looking at. Obviously the exhaust here is quite corroded quite heavily, but there's no holes or anything. The brakes look okay. I think it's just been that one arm that needs changing. So let's get the car down, do the lights, check the horn, do all the levels and just make sure that's okay. And then I'll see you when we've got that part and then we can crack on with this arm. The only other thing that I would say is that this is also very wobbly. It's almost as if someone's not put in all of the fasteners. The other side here is a little bit worse. Quite a bit worse. So obviously as you're going along, and especially if it's bumpy road, it might just give you a little bit of a, like that, and then you'll be going, why is it knocking? When it actually just needs a couple of more fasteners. Much better. Okay, so I have tested all the lights and they're all working, all the indicators are working, the hazards are working, the horn's working, the doors are opening from the inside and the outside. Everything seems to be okay. Problem is, this one is very, very high. That one is very, very low. So let's have a look and work out why that is. That one doesn't move anywhere near as much as this one. So I'm really struggling with my hands to be able to go in behind and get this bulb out. I just cannot get to it to get it out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the whole headlight. And what I need to do first is I need to get rid of this plastic trim, unplug this light here, do that bolt, and then there's another bolt in behind here. These little rivet things out, pulls up and out. And then there's one on this side as well. There are some clips down in here. It's kind of just a wiggle job. These are the tabs right here. And you got this one here, which you just have to unplug. Then we've got this one here, which looks like a 10mm. That one doesn't even seem to have a bloody bolt here, look, to hold it in. And then you've got one at the top here. Oh, I see. That one there, that's actually snapped. So on the back of here, there's a clip. That clip has been taken out, and then that has been taken out. This is the light that we're struggling to do. So it's just held on with a clip. Holy sh**. That metal spring literally just hung across and smashed the hell out of that light bulb. Oh, that looks like wicked. That's how tough they are to get out. Glass everywhere now. I don't like these connectors because they just get stuck. Okay, so I found that the passenger side one was actually wobbling around alone in the back. I could literally get the back of where the block is on this and just go up and down, and it would just go like this all over the place. No wonder the headlights are just going crazy all over the time and they're not going where they should be going. These little clips here, they're quite a pain in the ass to deal with. What they do is they clip up inside some little holes in here. So that is now clipped in. So I kind of had to put it in underneath the metal piece, which is at the top here. You then put it down and you clip it in underneath like that. And then what you do is you just clip in like so. Then what I'll do is I'll put the boot over that, and then I'll put the block on the back. Before I go too far, I should actually probably check that the lights are working. They are, but again, they're very, very off. Okay, so it turns out they do have adjustments, but it was worth taking the headlights out and not just adjusting them, because even if I adjusted them, they'd still be going like this, because they're so loose in the housing. Now they're not loose, I can just adjust them and just kind of hope that they're okay. If it gets to the MOT and it says they're too high, too low, whatever, it is what it is, you know, at least they can just adjust it and fix it. You join me a little bit later and I've got the parts. As you can hear from outside, it's absolutely howling outside, blowing a gale, so I thought today was a great day to have to crack on with the Nissan Micra. I'm just going to take the wheel off and then we're going to crack on with this side suspension. I also bought the other side and have fitted that already. Few issues, but I'll show you that in a little bit. Okay, this one comes off quite easily. Just give it a little bit of a tug like that. So these are 19s. Let's whiz these off. Okay, I'm going to take this bolt out here. They are 16mm, and then 16 on the nut on the other side as well, although that's not really going on there for some reason. That's just snapped right off. It's going to give this a couple of twists just to loosen up the bolt, and then using this one, I'm just going to put that in and punch out the bolt. There we go. So now that that bolt is out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a chisel in the middle here where there's a slot, and that will help just to open up the gap and allow the ball joint to be pulled through. So let's just lever this down using this, and then hit this with a hammer. There we go. So this is what I would use if you were struggling to get that ball joint out. Use this little chisel thing here, right? I got it on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. It came as a pack of 3. This one here is perfect. It's just skinny enough to get in there, and then as you turn it with the ratchet with an 8mm on the end, it will just ever so slightly move like this just to open up the space, and then you can use your hammer while you're holding it down and putting tension on it just to slowly knock out the ball joint, and that has worked an absolute treat. Worked on the other side. Yes, unfortunately we've got a broken bolt. I was expecting that because the other side snapped off straight away as well. Obviously been in there forever. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop down the rear now by removing the bolts on the back for the bushes, then we're going to change the whole arm. This is an 18 here, and I also believe it's an 18 on the top. I'm full on overheading it. Here we go. So the spanner above just locks into place. Just be careful where it does lock. Don't want to cause any damage. There we go. And then we're onto the bush on the front here. And what you've got to do is you've got to undo this one on the left and then also hold the one here on the right. So pretty much the ball joint is 16, that's 17, that's 18. To get more space, I'm just going to leverage this down. I find this one is quite hard to get out because this bush just sticks in there and kind of travels whichever way you pull it. So it kind of wedges itself in there. There we go, with that really bad ball joint. Like, look at the state of that. Let me just wiggle that nipple. Look at that. Look at it. Yeah, it's absolutely destroyed. And the other one is this one here, which I shall put a link in the description below for. These were actually really, really cheap. I didn't buy anything too expensive. I didn't buy like Lem Ford or anything like that, because the Range Rover, for example, it needs Lem Ford. Look, it's such a big heavy vehicle. This is a little car my mum doesn't really drive all that often. So I'm like, let's just get her some cheap ones so she's not spending ridiculous amount of money on the car. But those should do the job, do a lot better than what that other one is. So that one doesn't move at all. She should see quite a difference in the way that the car handles. Right, let's get this one up in the rear at least, because obviously we haven't got the bolts for the front. So I've just cleaned these areas off, and now I'm just going to put a little bit of grease on them, just so that the bush and the metal and all of that doesn't rub and squeak and stuff like that. I found on the other side this was a bit difficult, to be honest, because you have to get this bush in on the right hand side here, the upright one, and then you have to kind of lever and maneuver this other side in. It can be a bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest. And I'll also grease up this bolt here as well, because that is where the movement happens along there, along the non-threaded area. Give that a light knock to see if it'll go in. Nope, so obviously it isn't lined up properly. Okay, that's knocked through to the next section. So it obviously needs to line up on this back end now. There we go, knocked in. Okay, so this one is an absolute pain in the ass. It kind of goes at an angle in the bottom here, which means it doesn't line up at all. You use something to lever it up, and then you have to get your bolt in. So that one is then in, but you need to then push the back of this in. It really isn't as easy as you'd think it would be. Maybe if I put that ball joint in, it might do it. Just clean it up first. Put some of that there. Jesus. Okay, so that is all in, and obviously I need to get the bolts for that, so I'll get those bolts as soon as I possibly can. As you can see, that has gone in. I'm wondering whether maybe with this, I should have actually taken this one, put that in first, put the bolt up and in, and then swung it across so the bush would go in into the front here. After I've got those new bolts, what I'll do is I'll jack the hubs up until it's that ride height. I'll then torque up all of these bolts. So that bolt there is 114 at the front, that one there at the rear going upwards is 127, and then this one for the ball joint will be 37. And I need to remember to do the other side as well. 6 days later, and I have received the bolts. These seem to be quite hard to get hold of. And here is the part number. Oh, there we go. Fucking roll. Perfect, that's exactly what we need. Not going to do it up fully, because obviously I can do that when the car is at ride height. Okay, so now that those bolts are in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the car down, put the wheels back on, get it to ride height, which is going to be on the floor. Then I'm going to take a measurement between the middle of the hub and the arch. That'll give me an idea as to where the hubs are when it's at ride height, and then I'll take the wheel back off, measure from the hub to the arch, jack it up as much as I need to get that in line to where I need to then torque the bolts up. Ooh. Not exactly where I wanted to be at this point today. Unfortunately, I think the tie rods need doing on at least this side. Moving that around, it moves around way too easily. If you listen really carefully, there is a pop of air because all the grease has leaked out through this here, which has all come apart. So that's obviously no good, needs to be changed. What about this inner one? What I've got to do with the inner one is just pull this backwards and forwards. There is definitely knocking. Should I actually put that back in and use that as leverage? That might actually be a better option. I think that has loosened that from this. So the idea here is that I need to loosen this off so that this will then come loose from the inner, and then the outer one then I'll count how many times it spins around fully. That will tell me how many times I need to spin it back on when I put the new stuff back together, to kind of give me an idea as to where the tracking should be, give me a general idea so that at least it can be driven to an MOT station and then to a tracking place. 1, 2, 21. I'm going to be reusing this boot. There's a little bit of metal that sticks out. The metal clip is hanging down there, and what I did was I put in this pry bar into the gap that I've made with some screwdrivers, and then I literally just yanked it and yanked it and yanked it, and then it has kind of popped off. There it is. What I'll do is I'll replace it with zip tie, because they'll last pretty long anyway, especially on Mum's car, because she doesn't really use it very often. So this is the closest side of the boot, and as you can see, it's just one of those clips where I'll just literally press it in with a tool and then it'll just come loose. So that's now loose, and now the boot will slide off. So the boot is off. What I did was I just kind of got some grips and just really slowly pulled it like this, and then tried wiggling it forward. A little bit of it came forward. It just loosened up the grip around this little kind of gap in here, and I just pulled it off like that, kept pulling it from the back, and it popped off. So that is going to be cleaned up and then reused. And as you can see, this is the inner track rod, and yeah, it's kind of The ball joint's like absolutely dead in it. I'm pretty sure it shouldn't be moving around that much, which is why it's probably banging. So to do the job, I did order this. I think you slide it over the track rod inner, and then right at the end there you'll see a square, which is where my 1/2-inch drive will go. You put in the size that you need, and then you twist it and you undo the inner track rod end. That one goes in over the top. A bit fiddly. This one is way too long. And yet it was the one that AutoDoc said, oh yes, 100% that's going to fit. So I've actually called a local place and I'm going to have to go pick it up tomorrow. So this is the size that we wanted. That is the same size. You're so awkward, aren't you?
Yeah.
You don't have to look at the camera, you can look at me or whatever.
I'm looking at you.
Oh, you can look at the camera. Hello everyone, this is my mum.
Hi everyone.
Did it pass the MOT?
No, it didn't.
Did it actually not pass the MOT?
No, it didn't.
Okay. Well, what did it fail on?
A coil spring.
Ooh. Oh, so that knocking that I found
Yeah.
wasn't what I thought it was.
No, it wasn't. It was a coil spring.
Okay, what had it done? Snapped or
Yes.
something? Or...
Snapped.
Okay. I made my mum drive many miles on a snapped coil spring. That wasn't very safe of me. Okay, so they've sorted that, have they?
They have.
Yeah.
Yep.
All good?
Took it back for the MOT.
Yeah.
Passed.
Yeah.
Driving home, felt like I had a punctured tyre. Couldn't
Right.
steer properly.
Okay.
Took it back to the garage
Yeah.
and the top mount had gone.
Oh, okay, so what, just... Did they not replace it to start with then?
No, they didn't, no.
Oh, okay, that's not very smart. If they were doing it anyway, they should have just replaced it, but...
Apparently.
Yeah.
But you didn't notice it was...
I didn't notice it was
Right.
snapped at
No.
all, so I
No.
probably shouldn't mention too much what they should be doing,
No.
considering they're an actual garage.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's not too bad. So they did that, and that's all good now.
It is.
So,
Yeah.
okay, all driving all right, and
Driving fine.
is your rattle gone? That rattle from the front?
rattle's gone.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
you'll see in the video when it comes out how I managed to fix that.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Cool.
nice little fix.
Yeah.
So happy then?
Yeah. And it's nice after nearly 29 years that you've come in handy for something.
Wow! What a woman!
Car fixer.
I don't even know what to say. That's so mean. I'm not going to say what I was going to say because people might say that's really mean.
Say it.
I was going to say, what a bitch. Me and my mum have a good relationship where we can say these things
Yeah.
and we know we don't mean it much.
Much.
Car's on the road, all running well, not
Yep.
having any problems,
No.
using it for work every day.
Yep.
Ideal. No knocks or bangs or anything
No.
like that. Perfect.
Perfect little Micra.
Well, just one more thing to say then. Thank you very much for watching. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. Mum, please tell them to subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please do comment below. Let me know if the video helped you out, if you were fixing your Micra. And please comment below and say how lovely my mum is.
Thank you.
Because she is a lovely person.
Oh,
I know.
what a creep.
See you later on. Cheers.
Bye.